I mean, I don't think many people expected anything more realistically. He was a 6-1 underdog for a reason. So for Dustin Poirier to put up a fight like this, it's impressive. Maybe it's a little bit of cope from my end, but deep down inside, I didn't think it was going to turn out that way. I didn't think he was going to be able to stuff that many takedowns. I didn't think he would be able to damage Islam Makhachev in any ways, and he did it. So I'm really proud of him, and I think we should really be proud of our boy, that if this is his last chance at title championship opportunities and title glory, and his last opportunity at the belt, he went out there and gave it everything he had. So you have to respect him for that, because that's really all you can ask from a fighter when he goes out there and fight. But yeah, now it's been a little while since I've been on there, so I'm a little bit rusty. But I'll tell you this, boys. I did record the prediction video for UFC 302, and I just didn't have the time to post it. I don't know why. It's just what happens with me sometimes. I get busy. I get booked up, and I recorded it on Wednesday. I kind of didn't like the way it turned out and the way it looked and stuff like that. So I kind of like spent too much time in editing, but didn't drop it. At the end, I did predict. I swear to God, I did. I'll put a clip here if you want. I just won't, because I don't want to edit. I'm the worst editor on YouTube. I just want these videos to be simple and authentic, all right? No edits, unless they really need to be. But you don't need to. You trust me, right? We have this bond together, right? So I did predict Strickland to win. And then I predicted Poirier to win, but it was more like a hope and like a prayer in the air. I was just throwing it out there. And at the end of the day, he really performed, and I'm really proud of him. Now, what I'll say is something I've been saying for a long time, and it's something I think most people are still underestimating. Still to this day, people are underestimating Islam Makhachev's full skill set. We all know he's great, but even as a striker, bro, this dude is as good as any other striker in the UFC. All right, it's insane. Like he was on the feet, and obviously there's the fear of the takedown that plays into like it plays a role into how you strike and how Dustin Poirier strikes. The way you strike with like Max Holloway is going to be different, because you don't have to have your hands too down if you want to defend a takedown. But realistically, for MMA, Islam Makhachev striking is impressive. He's fast. His countering is there. His clinch is amazing. The knees in the clinch are there. And he just never seems to give up, even like if he gets hurt, if he gets wobbled, if he gets dropped, or like just damaged as a whole. It never seems to really bother him too much. So that's something you have to show him respect for that. And as a champion, it's the kind of qualities we look for. So yeah, I think it's time we give respect. I think it was the first fight against against Alexander Volkanovski where I was truly like, even though Volkanovski put up a great fight, Islam Makhachev was so impressive on the feet. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this type of striking from him. And so many people were talking about Volkanovski's takedown defense and, being able to get back to his feet and damaging him at the end of the 5th round and all that other stuff. And kind of people overshadowed and forgot about Islam Makhachev's amazing striking, his defense and his timing, and the fact that he knocked down Volkanovski a few times in that fight. And people kind of didn't talk about it. Then in the second fight, obviously he knocked him out. And still, again, in this fight against arguably one of the best boxers in the UFC, he showed out there and actually did some damage to Dustin Poirier on the feet. So it was, even though they were on the feet at some point, I was like, yes, Dustin, you defended this takedown. Congratulations. You're the best in the world, and I love you so much, and I'm so biased for you. So please stay on your feet. There was still a part of me where I was like, ooh, I'm still afraid, because I don't want to see Dustin Poirier get knocked out by Islam. It would just be a bad look, because there were some moments where Islam would catch him with some shots, and I'd be like, damn, it's not looking good for Dustin. You know what I mean? Even though overall, when you look back at it, Dustin did more damage on the feet, no questions asked. But Islam still is dangerous, and he's quick, and his counters, like I said, are just really, really, really great to look at. So, yeah, he's the full package. He's completely and utterly the full package of a mixed martial artist. There's barely any holes in his games. You look at a guy like Charles Oliveira, for example, where he was the champion, and you could say This dude has power in his hands and great grappling. But when you look at realistically, like, his game as a whole, there's holes in the game of Charles Oliveira. The way he defends is really bad. There's no head movement. His footwork isn't the best on the feet. His takedown defense and wrestling overall is not the best either. But when you look at Islam Makhachev, like, it's actually no holes. Like, there's actually no real holes that I look at it where I'm like, oh, there's something you can exploit here, because on the feet, he's great. He's fast. Maybe the only hole I have is his power. Maybe he doesn't possess enough power. But when you're a grappler like that, I don't think you need it. You just need to stay on your feet and throw enough to, like, be respected on the feet. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like the type of grappler that just prays and shoots and prays. You know what I mean? Islam isn't that type of fighter, obviously. He doesn't have like a Dustin Poirier power, maybe, or Justin Gaethje power, but he doesn't need it. And on the feet, like I said, he has no holes. He's fast. He's probably one of the best defensive striker in the lightweight division. Great wrestling, obviously. Great submission abilities as well. He's the whole package, honestly. He's the whole package. And I love Islam Makhachev. Obviously, I love Dustin Poirier, and I wished that he would have been able to finish the story. And, like, it would have been almost too poetic, obviously. And sometimes it's too good to be true, and that's what it would have been for Dustin Poirier tonight. But I'm still super proud of him, and I think it's just time for us to recognize Islam Makhachev as the actual pound-for-pound great. He's phenomenal. He's really good, and obviously I know a lot of people put respect on his name, but there's always some critics and stuff like that, and when you look at his game, I don't like it. I don't like when people compare. Like, I made a video on the main channel talking about the differences and comparing a little bit Islam and Khabib. And after this fight, I saw some comments that said some stuff about, like, this just proved Khabib is levels above. And I'm just so disappointed that fans are this much of a casual, that you don't understand that the fact that Khabib fought Poirier in the first fight gave Poirier more chances to prepare yourself for a similar type of fighter, which is Islam. So coming into this fight, Islam, Dustin Poirier was way more knowledgeable of that style of fighting, probably way more prepared and prepared better for that style of matchup, and more experienced just as a whole. Not even just the fact that he fought Khabib before, a similar style to Islam, but he's been fighting for the last 3 or 4 years since that fight, gained much more experiences on the ground, obviously, and just as a fighter, much more confidence. So it was a different Dustin Poirier than what Khabib faced in 2018 or 2019 back in the days. It's a completely different fight. Maybe it was I think it was 2019, maybe 2021. I don't know. I think 2019, if I remember correctly. But regardless, you cannot compare it like, well, Khabib didn't bleed and he choked him out in the third round or something like that, and Islam bleeding, whatever. It's not the same fighter. It's not the same fight, and it's ridiculous for you guys to compare it that way, knowing that Dustin had more time to prepare. Dustin was more knowledgeable on the style of fighter that Islam and Khabib were. It's just stupid to compare it that way. I truly believe that Islam as a fighter is more well-rounded than Khabib, and he has much more potential because he didn't scurry away from the sport after 3 title defense against 3 strikers. Well, hopefully he doesn't, because right now that's what he currently has. I think 3 title defense against 3 strikers. But regardless, I hope he fights Arman next and doesn't run away from that challenge. And he has a lot of potential to be actually one of the greatest, probably the greatest lightweight in the world of all time, I mean. So, yeah, Islam should keep fighting and prove. I mean, it's going to be a tough fight against Arman, but I truly believe Islam has all the tools to succeed. So we'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below. I cannot promise you anything because there's so much work that I have to do on the fighting business, the main channel. I'm trying to up the schedule a little bit. But anytime I can come on here and talk to you guys, give you guys my raw output on these events, I truly enjoy and love it. So hopefully you guys love it too. And yeah, I'm going to go to sleep. Look, you can see the clock right behind. It's like 2:34 right now. So I'm just go to sleep. And yeah, hopefully sweet dreams. Hopefully not think about Dustin Poirier too much, because it's a bit of a sad night for Diamond fans, you know. But I think he could maybe fight Conor, you know. Maybe everybody could fight Conor. I don't know. he could still be in some like fun, popular fight. Colby would be a great fight. Dustin and Colby, I think that would be a fun fight. I don't know. As much as I love him, I don't want to see him like fight down the rankings again and get knocked out by a fucking Fiziev coming up. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to. I think he's earned, either the star fights or just to retire on top as a legend. I don't want to see Dustin go through the Tony Ferguson treatment. And I don't think he wants to go through that. So shout out to him. And yeah. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch y'all hopefully pretty soon. Peace out, boys.